Welcome everyone to Top Shelf Whiskey's second live stream. So welcome everybody. Wanted to welcome you all and also tell you a little bit about what we're going to do tonight. Something a little different. We're going to be raffling away 1 ounce of what I refer to as my best whiskey. So let's get a few more people in the chat. I'll kind of go over the rules one more time. And so if you miss it right now, just don't feel like it won't be repeated a few times. So what we're going to do is for $5, basically, you're going to get a number. Depending on how many numbers we get, we're going to put them in a randomizer at some point this evening, probably more along the 8:45 time frame. And then what we'll do is, whoever wins gets the number, gets their pick, and I'll show with the 5 bottles. But I listed up there. Basically, we're going to do Lagavulin 25, Kalila 35. From 2018, cast strength Talisker 25. I believe I have a 2005 open, a Balvenie Ton 1401, and a Lafroig 22, which is an independent inventory bottling. I believe it's the first fill Oloroso, or maybe a second fill Oloroso cast. But I'll show all the whiskeys at some point for you guys. So if you guys want to get involved in that, again, just measly $5. That covers your shipping, everything else like that. Again, I'll send you a 1 ounce sample of any of the 5 whiskeys, and I'll kind of show everybody here once we kind of get going. Anyway. Besides myself, of course, we have Dustin here with us as always.
Hey, guys.
And besides giving away whiskey, well, not quite giving away, but you know what I mean. Besides raffling off some good whiskey today, what the topic of conversation is going to be loosely is how Dustin and I score whiskey, or at least score whiskey at this point in our whiskey journey. Dustin, until we get some more folks in here and we start talking about the contest again, I want 2 things from you, my friend.
All right.
What are you drinking? And tell me right now, when you're thinking about doing a review, judging a certain whiskey, when it comes to the whiskey score, what are some of the things that come to mind?
Yeah, well, so with that topic in mind, Mike, I poured 2 different whiskeys because I kind of wanted to sort of think through the scoring between 2 different whiskeys while I did this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got on my right glass here, I've got the Batch 1 Kilkerran 16, which we haven't reviewed, and I was not a big fan of this whiskey in particular. It's fine. It's just a little overpriced, really, is kind of where I'm at. And then I've got, I believe, a 2020, maybe 2021, maybe 2019, I can't remember, Longrow 18. So I've got one of the Longrow 18s here. And, Mike, I mean, when I get into when I start with the whiskey, it always comes down to I look for, initially, I nose it, and I look for certain flaws. And those generally are going to be, do I get new make? And I want to get some kind of like wort notes, off-putting notes coming from something in the mash bill, those kinds of things. So I'm just kind of looking for basically inherent, kind of young, youthful whiskey flaws that don't make sense. How about yourself, my friend?
Well, yeah, I mean, to build off of kind of what you were saying about, kind of what you look for initially, kind of depends on what style of whiskey it is. So, I mean, obviously I have some type of thought process of what I'm looking for, depending on if it's a Isle whiskey, peated whiskey, Speyside sherry whiskey, yada, yada, yada. But, I guess to build off of the things you already talked about, which I agree with almost everything you said there, I try to anchor myself to certain whiskeys where I know this is a certain score. Say, for instance, we were doing some Glengoyne 25s recently, and I gave that kind of just a solid 90. It doesn't do anything spectacular, but it's a really good whiskey, and what it does really well. So in that scenario, I always try to anchor myself to when I start thinking or trying to formulate a score is, okay, this is a standard for, say, a Speyside sherried whiskey. This is a 90. First of all, is it a better whiskey than this or not? So then I kind of start the process from there and kind of move around to say something I think, if it's a lesser whiskey, what's an 85, Speyside sherried whiskey? Say Glenfarclas 25. Say that's an 85 or an 86. Or say Glengoyne 25 is say a 90. So if I'm judging another Speyside with a similar age, I try to figure out, where I am at between those two. Is it above both of them? Is it between them? Is it below both of them? And kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's a good point on kind of the looking into the style of whiskey. So, for example, here I've got a Longrow, which is a heavily peated whiskey. And then I've got a Kilkerran, which isn't peated, or at least it's very lightly peated in this example. But they are both Campbelltown, so they've got kind of their own thing going here. FYI, we did get our first super chat from Big Sexy, Travis Woolard. So I've got you down, Travis.
Yep, we got your number one, buddy.
No, Travis, the goal for this stream is hopefully we're going to get enough cash potentially to get a label maker to make these samples we send out look a little professional, and so people don't see our chicken scratch. That's really our number one goal.
Yes, yes. Try to get raise enough money to get a label maker. Maybe a few 1 and 2 ounce whiskey samples. Hey, Dustin, real quick. So we have about double the amount of people in the chat. So in case you guys haven't scrolled to the top, welcome everybody. Just to let you guys know, we are talking about how Dustin and I score whiskey currently right now on our whiskey journey, and then we're also raffling off your choice of 1 of 5 of my best whiskeys. We did get someone else here dropped us a 10 spot. So Cato, basically you get 2 numbers for that. So basically how it works is for every $5 you give, you get 1 number. We will take all of those numbers 1 through 5, 1 through 10, 1 through 40, whatever, and then we'll put them in a randomizer about the 845 mark, and then the winner of that gets to pick 1 ounce of any of the whiskeys from my collection. So Dustin, just since we're here, we might as well kind of show the people what they're getting. So you guys aren't being bamboozled. First one is going to be a Talisker 25 cast strength. One of my favorite whiskeys. If you guys have ever had a chance to see any of the reviews on either the 04 or the 05, Dustin and I talk very favorably about it. But this particular one will be the 05. Comes in at a hefty 57.2% ABV. Now, if you don't want something so peaty, well, you came to the wrong place. But I do have at least one for you. And that, by popular demand of our poll request, is the Balvenie Ton 1401. This one's the batch 9. Fantastic whiskey. Is a total of about 12 casks. We can get into why that's such a great whiskey, but just kind of move it along here. Well, it's got a Cleo 35. I have a few of these bottles. You see it's only about halfway drunk down. 58.1% ABV. Old, powerful, epic whiskey. And finally here, we have, I believe, will be most people's choice, Lagavulin 25, the 2016 bottle. So
that is peaty sherry heaven right there, Mike.
$4 or $5, you can get in on a chance to win one of these. Someone is going to get it tonight. All right, so Cato, you are down for numbers 2 and 3, my friend. So Dustin, we will update this as we go. And Donner Pass, you were in for 5, so you will be number 4. And I will post this in the comments section here pretty soon.
And Mike, I got it all. I'm putting it in a spreadsheet as I go.
Okay. So I don't do anything. Peter White, 10 Canadian. What does that mean? What does 10 Canadian mean?
We'll go ahead and give him credit for it being real money. I mean, I know it's really only like 6 cents, but we'll count it, Peter.
Is it $10 Canadian? Don't you owe us something in American for that? Just kidding.
I guess, Mike, you did say you'd be okay with shipping to Canada for this, so.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'll ship to Canada. Done it before, not a problem. Something happens, doing my best here. Yeah,
technically it's $8, Peter, but we'll put you down for 2 just this time. Next time, throw in an extra $2. We're kidding.
10 Canadian means he's cheating. It does. It does mean he's cheating. That's all right though. Very American of you. All right, Dustin. Who else we got here? We got Peter White. We already talked about him. We got Donner Pass. We got Travis. Is Travis do 10 more, or is
Travis just did 10 more? So yeah, he's seeing it. He wants in. He saw those bottles, man.
All right, so he gets 2 more numbers. All right, we got Kyle here. Kyle, welcome. You get 2 numbers, and Too Slow, you get 2 numbers. So, all right, we're moving along here. Dustin's going to track all these numbers, basically tell you guys where you're at the end, and we'll put a random number generator up here. So you guys make sure we're not playing any favorites. David Hong, $10. Thank you, sir. That gets you 2 numbers.
Apparently, I'm going to have to show off that I currently have an expired copy of Office on my computer.
Doing updates, Dustin. Thanks, man. Okay, so as you guys saw a few of the bottles. Now, besides that, I do have a Lafroig 22, which is like a director's cut. It's kind of a new bottling. I don't have it here with me. Just right now, I have it in my closet. But if you guys pick that, I can certainly show you that bottle. And just to let you guys know, if you guys want a different Lagavulin, I mean, I have other Lagavulins. I just think people would want the 25, Dustin. So if you guys want the 24, that's also, you're welcome to that. Also have the 21 from 1991. So, if you guys want something else, just let me know.
Yeah, and then I think, Mike, we were talking about it. I think I am going to do 1 ounce of Springbank 18, the 2021, just to a random Patreon tonight. So we'll take a look at who the Patreons are, Mike. If you can pull that up here at the end of the night, and we'll just kind of randomly grab. So if you guys join our Patreon tonight, you're in that. If not, hey man, we just want to give back to those guys because it's awesome. Anybody would ever join our Patreon, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no doubt. All right, Dustin, we got Jason Coates in for 10. Did Jason give money earlier? Oh no, he just gave the comment. Okay, yeah, so that's Jason has 2 numbers. Then Ravi got in. Welcome, Ravi. Thank you, sir. So if it's your first time here, welcome, and thanks for joining. Again, Dustin and I, as we kind of compile these names and numbers and everything, and get the sample thing pieced out for you guys. What we're also talking about is again how we judge whiskey. Now, Dustin, let me ask you, in terms of a cap as far as a whiskey score, a lot of times I'll say things such as, hey, for this type of whiskey, I would never go over this type of score. I've always said, like with Octomores. I think even the best Octomores, the best they can be is maybe an 88, maybe an 89. I would never give an Octomore, say, a 91 or a 92. I've also said to you before, I don't know how much I'd ever pay for, like, say, a Glenmorangie or a Balvenie, because how good can those whiskeys get? I understand, say, the $1,000 price point, but say it got to the point where it was like, $2,000-$3,000 as far as drinking and enjoying. I also feel like some styles of whiskey for me are out from a price perspective as well. So then that, to me, it doesn't mean they're less of a whiskey, but it also means there's probably no way I'm ever going to rate one of those whiskeys, say, a 93 or 94 or 95.
Yeah, I think. All right, so Bourbon just had to get the dig in. I was going to get back to you, Bourbon, but Bourbon wants to start a GoFundMe to get me a tanning bed. Bourbon, I've been in tanning beds. It won't change the tan. I'll peel after a few days. I'll be right back to this color.
Nice. Yeah, I'll drop a link to our Patreon. Give me a second.
I should have posted one in there, Mike. I don't know if you guys see it or not.
I will get to it.
Just after Human's very generous 20.
We'll get that man 4 numbers.
Yep.
All right, I'm about to copy here. Just give me a second. Sorry for not being more prepared.
Yeah, and so I think kind of to your point though, Mike. I mean, when I'm reviewing a whiskey, I'm looking for certain like depth, complexity. I often talk about how you get waves of flavor.
Yes.
And so certain whiskeys don't lend themselves to doing that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we were kind of saying the same.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah. So your Glengoyne style, epic, perfect, well done sherry bomb. Love those whiskeys. Love that stuff, but it doesn't lend itself to that just kind of like layer after layer transitions. It just doesn't do that.
No, and I'll say this, man. Yeah, that's kind of where I go with a few of them. I mean, again, I have styles that I like, but at the end of the day, I'm looking for something, that has just mouthfeel. Well, where I was going with it was, I kind of said that same thing about Balvenie before. I thought the 30 year was the best one I ever had from them. I thought, for that's only so high I rate that, only so much I'd ever pay for that whiskey. But then when we tried a couple of those 1401s, I tell you what, man. I thought those complexity wise were as good as any of my favorite Islas or maybe some of my more enjoyable Highland Parks that I've had.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get proven wrong anytime we say a certain style of whiskey can't reach a certain level because we keep finding whiskeys that do it for us.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in general, if you're speaking generalities,
No, I agree. Yeah, the guy Peter says those Balvenie tones will be pretty good. Yeah, I tell you what, I was really impressed by the 1509s the first time I had one because I hadn't had a 1401 yet, and I still remember, Dustin, my first 1509 was the Batch 4, and I still really like that whiskey. I still have one in there, but I tell you what, man, it does not compare to those 1401s. That is so much older whiskey.
I mean, age matters, and when it's done right, and that's where we keep saving scores. Like we don't want to give a 96 because what happens when we find a whiskey that is worthy of that, and then we find a whiskey that's even better, and then even better.
I tell you what, man, that was something that I always thought, I don't think I've ever really rated anything like in my modern whiskey reviews, anything more than a 94. But see, earlier, I'll say this. Earlier, I remember saying, first time I had Island Park 25, right? I remember saying that was a 95 whiskey because I hadn't had, hundreds and hundreds of scotches at that point. But now I wouldn't call it that. But still, I even thought in my mind, man, there's got to be something 3 or 4 times better. But I tell you a little bit where I get that from is I think Whiskey Base has like a top 200 list or whatever of the highest rated whiskeys ever, and I have none of those whiskeys. So there's got to be better whiskeys there somewhere.
Oh, yeah, every time Malt Review brings out some Samaroli single barrel from the 60s, you're just like, okay, I don't know what to think about that.
Yeah, then I don't think I'm drinking that good. So yeah, it happens. Cato, man, you guys were talking about Billy. What happened to Billy? I still talk to him every once in a while. I still has a tattoo business and everything there. He doesn't really do much drinking anymore, but yeah, those were the beginning time were strange days.
That's some of his tasting notes, Mike, were a little disturbing.
Yeah, a little disturbing to say the least. I'll say this though. His take on a few whiskeys were about as unique of a take on a tasting note as I've ever heard from anybody. And the man was not afraid to take his shirt off, and you got to love that type of self-confidence.
I'll give him that. Of course, he had a lot of ink on him, so he had reason to show it off, I guess. It was definitely not his fitness routine that he was showing off.
Dustin, it's been a hard start for you today, buddy.
Hey, you know what, man? I'll take the heat. Just as long as it's not from the sun, because that would just burn me.
To be fair, I have never seen Dustin in daylight. I've only seen him in evenings, met him at bars. I've never actually been out and seen Dustin in the sunlight. So even though I know the guy for 4 years, I guess it could be true. All right, Dustin, what are we up to numbers-wise, bud?
All right, so we got 24 total entries in here, and we've got see, Travis is in here a couple times here. I think he's the only person to go in twice. So we got 12 different people. Travis is in for 3.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, so
that rolling so far. And Donner, I did drop the Patreon link and subscription in there. So just to reiterate what Dustin was saying earlier, what we'll do besides the Mike's Best Whiskey giveaway, anyone who joins the Patreon plus our current Patreon subscribers that we currently have now, we'll find one person and send them a sample of the Spring 18 from 2021. Dustin, does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay, 2021.
Yeah, I got a bunch of bottles of that for a really good price and figured I should share with the people here. So that'll be great.
Absolutely.
Yep. So Whiskey Al, Straight Al. Good to see you, buddy.
Welcome, Al. It's been a while since I visited your channel, man. Hope you're doing well.
And we got another one just jumping in to say he loves the channel. So thanks, John. Appreciate it. We're trying, man.
All right. So, Dustin, I'm drinking for my first drink of the night. And after I drink this, I'm going to get right into the whiskeys that I'm raffling off so I can tell people a little bit about them. But to warm up the palate a little bit, I'm going to go with a little bit of this Ardbeg 23. As you know, I've kind of told myself I'm not really buying Ardbegs going forward unless there's some of the older bottles. So I'm here, first drink of the night, to ask myself, am I being too hasty? I'll say this. I always want more ABV out of this whiskey.
That's the complaint everybody's got is if they give you age, they don't give you proof. If they give you proof, God, it's young.
A little bit of everything, but all of nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like they give you the Wee Beastie at 48%, which sounds great until you see it's 5 years old, and you're like, gosh, really, guys?
All right, so while I'm sipping on this Ardbeg, next thing I'm going to go to is about Vinny Ton. Since everyone was kind of interested in the poll in this just as much as the Lagavulin, and everyone knows how much I always gush about Lagavulin, I figured I'd pour this, let it oxidize, tell you guys a little bit about this one. If you were the person who actually wins the raffle at the end of the night, just in case this is one you're considering. Oh, Dustin, look how dark that is.
Oh yeah, I mean, God, what's the age on that one, Mike? Like
the average age, I don't know. I mean, again, this is another one that goes up to like late 30s, early 40s as far as the oldest cast, as far as the sherry butts in it. I'll look up all the details. I know we just did the batch 8. This is batch 9. They have so many casts, they get confusing, so I don't like to quote unless I have like information.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, but that one had a little more bourbon.
Yeah,
that was good, man. That was good.
Well, they all have. A lot of them have mainly bourbon casts, and they only have a few sherry casts. So this one is okay. So the batch 8 was 12, so that was 9 bourbon, 3 sherry. This is again 3 sherry. How many bourbon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 11. So instead of 9 bourbon cask, this one has 11. Same
Okay.
3 sherry. So we'll see. But I tell you what, that smells incredible. These tons, I have these at a good fill level, all of these, the 1401s, and they're just, man, just candied honey magic.
We got you in there, Teddy. We got you in there. 2. And now here's a good one. Now I haven't talked to a lot of Ardbeg reps, but I know Travis gets around and talks to reps. I just saw you got a signed bottle of Dare Gaelic, which, by the way, that is awesome, buddy.
That's a good pickup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you got to meet. Was the master distiller there, Travis? Or I didn't quite get all the details. But yeah, and he's saying that they recommended on a root beer Dr. Pepper, which actually I like root beer, Mike. I don't drink it very often, but I like it. That actually sounds pretty good.
I love root beer, man. That's really my favorite soda.
Smoky root beer sounds actually really tasty. I am not going to even pretend I wouldn't try that.
Yeah, I'd give it a go. A&W is my favorite. Some people like Barks around here in Columbus, but back home in Chicago, we're all A&W fans.
Well, if you ever get the chance, a Chicago brewery, Goose Island, they have their own like a craft root beer that they do, which is pretty damn good. Has the natural sugar cane and all that good stuff.
I tell you what, I was talking with DJ Beacon earlier today about the root beer note on that Catalan. I sent him those Whiskey World ones, and we're kind of going. He tried it finally, and we're going back and forth on it. And he said to me, I said to him, I was like, man, did you get that root beer note on the finish? And he was like, I got to go back to it. I only had it the one time. But I tell you what, I love that creamy root beer note on the end of that Catalan. Man, that's a great whiskey.
Mike, that is a great question. I'll let you start off, and I'll answer as well.
What got me into whiskey? Well, I'll say this: Scotch in general. See, when I was a young person, I really didn't like whiskey too much because we always drank, when you were really young, like kind of bad whiskey. But when I was in my early 20s, 2 people, a coworker of mine, right when I got out of school, and my brother-in-law, one of my brother-in-laws, both of them were big Macallan drinkers. One like the 12, one like the 18. So that was kind of my first introduction into it. But I've told the story a few times. I like Scotch. I would have bottles of Scotch. I could have bottles of vodka at my house. But I remember I'm here in Columbus, Ohio, and I went to Ohio State. So, we always watched the Buckeyes on Saturday morning. It was the end of a season. They were playing Wisconsin. And they went to the liquor store, and it was an early game, so a few people were coming over to drink. And I was like, well, I want to get a different Scotch. And this guy got talked into Lagavulin 16 by the guy who was the manager of the store. And I remember getting home, popping it open, me and a buddy of mine. I was like, come on, we'll try this. I remember taking my first sip of that thinking, oh, this is what I do going forward. I remember that moment was so crystallized in my mind. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that, whiskey neat could taste this good. And I remember thinking, like, I just love that smoky taste. And I was done after that. I think that next day I went back, bought 3 or 4 bottles of Lagavulin, like they were the only ones that ever existed. And I'm talking just a Lagavulin 16, 43% ABV, just that basic whiskey. And from there, it was over. I've tried every Isla whiskey I could possibly get my hands on, found other ones that I loved, Lafroig, and I just kind of branched out from there. I always kind of dabbled in Spaysides before I found Lagavulin. So I always, really liked Balvenies, Macallans. I liked Glenfarclas at one point in my whiskey journey. But, that was the moment. For an Ohio State Wisconsin game, drinking Lagavulin 16.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, real quick, Paul. That might be like the greatest thing I think anybody could say to us. Honest to goodness, he's thanking us for the reviews, and then he said he would never have tried or bought the Lafroig 25, Springbank 21, or Balvenie Ton without our reviews. That's incredible.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the bigger question is, were you happy with those purchases? We influenced you. I know we love those whiskeys, but I hope
well, he threw $10 in, so I hope so.
I hope so. Usually don't get burned by people, and then they give you money. But
yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, to Al's question, my dad was a big bourbon drinker. So growing up, like anytime he got a special bottle or something, he would talk about it. He'd bring it up. He'd brag about it. So I remember, like, I was in 8th grade, and he'd gotten this whiskey that he was told was the best bourbon in the world. It's Pappy Van Winkle 20 year, and he spent $70 on that bottle, Mike. My dad was not somebody to spend money on whiskey.
I know the guy.
So I snuck into that when the bottle got low. I snuck in one day and took a little drop of it and I tasted it. That was my first whiskey, and ever since, I mean, I just kind of chased after, wanting to kind of. It was this idea that like there's a level of quality and excitement in whiskey that I need to find and discover. And I had a lot of crap in college, but there was some good stuff back then too. So I mean, back then, you could get relatively inexpensive bourbons that had age statements. You could get 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old bourbons for under $10. Now we can't. No, I won't even bring up that particular bourbon, Mike. I know you're waiting for it.
Hey, I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. All right. And then Travis, that just sounds awesome, dude. That's so cool.
Yeah, man. Anytime you can get there right to the source, man, that's the dream. I mean, I still have yet to do that, Dustin. Any place other than like the local place here in Columbus. So
we got Jeffrey the Whack Attack in the house, one of the bourbon guys. But Jeffrey, we're doing a little raffle here every $5. I get you in for one of Mike's best whiskeys. So if you want to try one of the absolute best scotches that will ever exist, here's your chance tonight, man.
Yep, scroll up the top. Run the list there, but I'll run it down here one more time here in a few. I'll say this though, Dustin. If someone is a bourbon guy wants to get turned on to whiskey, this is going to be, if he wins this raffle, it's a good place to start. Although that's going to be some haters if a bourbon guy wins. I know that for sure.
If Peter White.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a game changer for sure. Oh, yes, I forgot. Tonight was the first night of the NFL draft. See, I sort of put it out of my mind, Dustin, because as a Bears fan, we don't win, but also we don't have a first-round pick this year. I forgot that was Thursday night. So I wasn't thinking of that when I scheduled the live stream. But, so for those of you that decided to come here besides the draft, thank you very much. Hopefully it was a win whiskey.
Yeah, well, no wonder the turnout actually probably was a little stronger last time. So that's probably it, man. We're competing with the NFL, and everybody loses against the NFL.
Everybody. Dustin.
Wow.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, Dustin, I got to hand it to you, man. You were the same with me, too. I would have never given that distillery a chance if it wasn't for you.
I mean, again, I feel bad now because I'm unfortunately destroying all this.
Let too many people know. But hey, I tell you what, that was always a bottle. Every time I went to like the party stores or something, I would look at it and see a bunch of them on the shelf. I'm talking, 2016, 17. They'd have, the 12, the 15, the 18, usually the 21s, usually the local barley, whenever that came out. I remember passing those up so much early in my whiskey journey, thinking, what's the big deal? It's only a 10-year-old whiskey or a 12-year-old whiskey. Why are they so expensive? Dustin, as you know, I was at the party source picking up a local barley 16, which is now a well-revered Springbank. And there were 3 other ones left there, so a total of 4. And I remember saying, I don't know if I was talking to you or Keith, and I said, man, $170 for a 16-year-old whiskey, that seems high.
I remember when I bought the 10-year, and I couldn't believe I paid that, but J.O. at the party source gave me a little taste of it, and I tasted it, and I just turned right around and said, I'll be right back, J.O., and I grabbed 2 bottles and came back out, and I'm like, all right, I'm going home with these. And he goes, really? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, now, to be fair, as soon as I tasted that whiskey, I knew I should have bought more of them, and they were gone. They were gone right away.
Oh, yeah. So, I guess to kind of get back on the topic, and not to skip over anybody else, which, by the way, Bourbon, you guys get this to, I don't know, you get this to $1,000 and sure, I'll go get a spray tan. And I don't wear dress shirts anymore. I actually did try the self-tanner at one point. The problem was it ruined dress shirts because I used to have to wear a shirt and tie every day. So, yeah,
Dustin's walls are actually a blue. He whites them out to that degree. Right.
Yeah, but Teddy kind of brought us back to the this topic. And so how do you factor in proof into your scoring, Mike?
Well, Dustin, as you know, I've just purged myself of my last 40 and 43% whiskeys. So, in terms of what is there, the nose can still be very good at low ABV. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of whiskeys, lower ABV whiskeys, where I say, hey, look, man, this nose is really good. I'll give you an example. Lefroy 28, right?
Mm-hmm.
44.4% ABV. It was weak on the palate, but that's a great nosing whiskey.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a better nosing whiskey than, say, the 25-year-olds, or, well, not the 22, but you know what I'm saying. It's a better nosing whiskey than whiskeys that are better than it. Where lower ABVs whiskeys always lose me is on the palate. Their mouthfeel, to me, I can't get over how thin the mouthfeel is on anything 45% or lower. For me, maybe I've just burned out my palate, but I'll say this, man. When I feel like a thinness to the whiskey, I can still say, I like the way it tastes. I like the flavors. I like the profile. But you can't ever say it's viscous, it's oily. There's something lost in the texture when it's that low of an ABV. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah, and mind you, remember that Lafroig 10 from like the 80s or 90s? It was an independent bottling, but it was 43% non-chill filtered, and it drank like it was 50% on the mouthfeel.
Sure, there are exceptions to the rule. That's why I didn't want to make any blanket statement. You just say, hey, look, on the nose, they still smell great. They come off thin on the palate. In the rare case that they don't, great. It's just often case that's the time.
Yeah, and I think what that kind of gets for me, Mike, is I'm very picky on the mouthfeel, the texture,
Absolutely.
Oiliness, the creaminess. That to me is, I probably value. So I think, when you look at the average whiskey drinker, we get comments on the channel more often than I would have ever expected. Like, how long are you guys going to nose this and talk about the smell? Get to the taste.
Sure, that happens.
So we put a lot more, I think, value in the smell of a whiskey than some people do. We also put probably a little bit more value on the texture than maybe I think whiskey reviewers in general, texture is a big deal. But I think for some, your average, hey, I just like to have a nice whiskey every night, they maybe don't put as much emphasis on that. So, it's a kind of a back and forth there.
Yeah, and Dustin, we've had the conversation too a few times. Do you think people that bottle whiskey are more focused on the flavor profile or the nosing profile? And I know they're focused on both. I'm not trying to say they're trying to cut corners. But what, kind of the agreement we both came to was, I would imagine they're probably more focused on the nose just based on the way they go about it. I'm sure they're probably, not consuming the alcohol. They're probably spitting or doing something like that. But it's probably easier for them to spend more time on the nose. But again, that's just my thought. And then the last point, Teddy, as far as chill filtering, now I don't want to see the whiskey chill filtered. I don't know if I can taste color. As a matter of fact, I will say I've never tasted what I thought was color on a whiskey. But if a whiskey is chill filtered, blind, I have proven to myself I can tell the difference. Difference is mouthfeel. Again, the richness, oiliness, creaminess. Along with being a low ABV, 43%, it's usually chill filter that ABV. So it's a double hammer coming down, low ABV, chill filtered, and that is what affects the mouthfeel. So both of them add to the effect of the mouthfeel, and I can I can guess pretty well which ones have and haven't just blind.
Yeah, I definitely think it'd be a fun thing to do is actually go in and actually do a few, basically chill filter a few whiskeys and kind of compare.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
all you need is a coffee filter and a freezer. You can chill filter it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to see what the difference is and put them right next to each other. All right, do you guys dabble in the American single malts? I mean, are those Texas whiskeys we've tried single malts?
Nothing I've brought up there is, Mike. There are some. The problem is I don't really have access to any of the better. Like, I can get some Stranahans, but not the good ones. I can get some Balcones, but not the better ones. So we haven't reviewed any. I've had a couple. I've gotten some samples from Matt from Whiskey Crusaders, and there's some really interesting stuff coming out of Texas that even Mike would somewhat appreciate, but he's probably not going to like it because it gives me a lot of notes that remind me of Amroot. So love to bring it to the channel, but I just don't have access to bottles for us to do a proper review.
Yeah, we'll get on that. Actually, one of our Patreons, DJ Beacon, he sent us another Garrison Brothers, so we can try another Garrison Brothers.
Yeah, that's probably a bourbon, though. Garrison pretty much is only bourbon. It's Balcones. Balcones is the big malt guy. There's a couple others that do it.
So we're going to chill cast strength to sample the 18. Just bought the 15 in the store today. Planning to try it tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, 15 was okay. I'd prefer the 12 cast strength and the 18 to the 15. Dustin, what are your thoughts on it?
15's always been the weak one in the lineup for me, but there's a lot of variance. So
sure.
It really kind of depends on like kind of the different batches you get. So it just depends.
Man, I tell you what, he's hammering you, bro. It's been a long night. All right, so just a quick wrap up since we have a few more people in the chat. We are here in probably, what time is it now? We're here in probably about 10, 12 minutes. We're going to go ahead and raffle off 1 ounce sample for everyone who throws in at least $5. So once again, what I'm drinking now is a Balvenie Tongue 1401. This is one of the bottles you are welcome to, assuming that you win. Just to talk briefly about the other bottles you are welcome to pick from. This Lagavulin 25, or really any of my Lagavulins. I don't have the 37, and I don't have the 21 from 85, but if you want another Lagavulin, I'm sure I have. I have like 40 some of them. And then another choice here is a Clio 35, excellent whiskey. Dustin?
Oh my God. If you like a darker kind of peat profile, that's probably the one for you.
And one of my favorite all-time whiskeys, the Talisman 5 cast strength, the 2005. And I also have that Lefroy 22. If you guys are interested in that, I'll actually show the bottle before we get to it. All right, let's move along, Dustin. If you guys have any questions about how else we would score whiskey, please let us know. Funny. Getting a lot of daywalker comments, Dustin. A lot of daywalkers. I have a 5-year-old, 3-year-old man just got drams whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, I've got some fans here.
Some whiskeys work at 43, most at 46. Yeah, I mean, Dustin and I have said we want to see whiskeys usually at least at 46% ABV. That's really what we want to see. And,
the 43, they're probably not chill filtering.
Jason Coates, one of my buddies found an old independent bottling of Port Ellen that was like a 40% ABV. And I tell you what, that was a strong bottling for 40% ABV. You know another one, Dustin, along those lines? I had a little bit left of a sample of a Kalila 25 at 43%. And I will say, going back to the 43% conversation, that is a beautiful nosing whiskey, that Kalila 25, the standard
It's one. Some really good whiskey in general, to be honest with you. I mean, I really, really appreciate that whiskey.
All right, so I will say this, Travis. 48's always been my number, man. I still find 46 a little bit lacking. 48, I've had so many really rewarding whiskeys at 48%. Glendowing 25, Lefroy 18, Dustin, Glendronach 21 Parliament. 48% is almost an ABV where I've only really been disappointed one time.
Oh, what's that one?
It's a Lagavulin, the Lagavulin triple matured.
Oh, 48. The one that was supposed to be kind of like what is that? That ice cream that's got the vanilla, strawberry,
right. Yeah,
parfait or whatever.
So to that point, it was 48%, Dustin. But I will bet money that whiskey was chill filtered. So even at 43% chill filtering can add a little bit of a problem to a whiskey experience sometime. But again, that's just me. I've always preferred higher ABV whiskeys, and the higher ABV, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Here's an interesting question, Dustin.
Okay.
Old whiskey, cask strength, oily, just came straight from the cask. No, basic filtering process, but it's 42% ABV. But it's a 38-year-old whatever, Lefroy, let's say. Thoughts on that whiskey?
I mean, again, at the end of the day, it just comes down to how well it comes off on the palate. I mean, again, if I get that creaminess and oiliness, that's important. Now, I agree with Travis there on finish is more important than texture, but finishes, I mean, that's a big part of the flavor. And a lot of times, though, texture and finish really go together.
It's hard to have a long, strong finish to a whiskey with weak texture to it, if you like the more memorable finishes on whiskey. Remember I was talking about that Catalan had the root beer finish at the end? That was 9.4% thick, oily, dense whiskey. And not that all of them do it, but again, you're talking in generalities where you say, hey, look, I've had good experiences in this range. If you're going to make a whiskey gamble or a whiskey bet, this is the bottle to go for. At least that's my thoughts.
Nope, I'm with you there. I mean, but yeah, I think it all kind of goes together. I mean, again, the intensity of flavor is going to be less, which is super, super important, obviously.
All right, so we got another couple numbers in here. Cheers, guys. Why don't you share the next Port Ellen sample with Dustin? Oh, man, I tell you what. You remember that, don't you? I remember that Port Ellen sample. Our buddy from Nashville sent it. He didn't say share it with Dustin. So since he did not specify, that's why Dustin did not get Port Ellen. But that was Thanks for our buddy Steven. That was a beautiful whiskey, man.
Now, Mike, he didn't ask. He goes, "Did you get to try that Port Ellen?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "He didn't share that?" I was like, "No, Steve, you gotta like write it down. Please give to Dustin. Otherwise, Mike just glug 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 glug."
That was a great whiskey. I've always said those old Port Ellens to me have a few similar notes to the old Talisker 25 cask strengths. So even though the Port Ellen's a better whiskey in general, it's pretty close. And really, there are some elements of those old Kalila 30 and 35s that are kind of Port Ellen-esque to some degree. But yeah, beautiful whiskey. But yeah, we got two of them there for you, buddy. Lefroy Lore at 10 Sherry Oak at 48%. Yeah, Lefroy Lore is good whiskey. Dustin and I did that comparison probably a year ago between the 18 and Lore. And I remember, I think that was my idea. And you're like, do you think anyone cares? I'm like, well, price point wise, they took over for each other. Like there was that 18, then there was the Lore. So ABV price wise, they're right there. And I assumed the 18 would absolutely destroy it. But the Lore is a much better whiskey than I gave it credit for. And that's a very good whiskey at 48%. I completely agree. Now, the 10-year-old Sherry Oak Lefroy at 48%, I have not had that. Dustin, have you?
No, it's the reviews on that have just been enough mixed for me to kind of, not rush out and pick it up. And that's probably, a mistake on my part, truth be told, but,
Interesting question from one of the greatest receivers in Ohio State's history. What whiskey, Scotchman, would you rather drink than King of Kentucky if both in front of you? Well, Dustin, that's a good question. That really is. Actually, I've thought about that many times. Where would I rank King of Kentucky if nothing else different? It was just a single malt Scotch and tasted the exact same way it tasted right now. Where would I rank it? First of all, I'll just start at just the whiskey score. The 2019 is what we're talking about here. I rated those 93s, 94s.
Yeah, they were up there.
Okay, so the company that would put them in is what you're being offered here as far as a whiskey sample. Lagavulin 25, Lagavulin 24, Kalila 35. It is that level of whiskey, and it would need to be that level of whiskey for me to want to drink it over a 2019 King of Kentucky for sure. Dustin, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, when you're getting into King Kentucky is a mood whiskey for me because it can be too sweet at times for me. It also can just be kind of the oak levels can be off. But any whiskey at that level is a mood whiskey to some degree because they are so complex, nuanced, deep. But yeah, I mean, a Balvenie Ton 1401 is on par, but I don't know if it's better. I think there's been one or two Lagavulins I'd put up there. I might maybe put there's Dave's Talisker 25 cask strength can be better because that's a whiskey as Mike, it's a chameleon. Every time we pour it, it's a different whiskey.
Sure.
Like that's one thing I hate about giving somebody a 1 ounce sample of that whiskey is I don't know what day it is. Thursday, it might be better than if you pour it on Thursday than if you pour it on Friday. I don't know. It's such a chameleon.
Buddy, I tell you what, though. You say you got to be in the mood for that whiskey. To me, King Kentucky's a mood changer. Every time I smell that whiskey. When you brought up, we did that kind of tongue-in-cheek review on the bourbons. You guys didn't have a chance to check that out, do?
Did our little parody.
Yeah, in that case, man, it was the same way. Like, man, every time we had that one whiskey before we started that review, and I was like, oh my God, every time I smell this whiskey, I'm in a good mood because I know what I'm about to get. So to answer the question it is up there with my favorite whiskeys to drink, period. There is really no whiskey I wouldn't consider drinking over, but if you want me to put in a company of whiskeys for me, my best Lagavulins, my best Kalilas, my best Lefroys, that's probably right where I put King Kentucky. As a matter of fact, I'd say I'd rather have King Kentucky than any Lefroy. There are a couple of Lagavulins I'd probably prefer, maybe a Kalila or two, maybe an Old Bowmore, but not many.
That Lefroy 32 years pretty damn good. That's up there.
Casey, welcome, buddy. Appreciate you showing up.
Cheers, Casey. Got you down for 2.
Got you down for 2 numbers, my friend. If you would like to swap out one of those for something else, Casey, you let me know, buddy. Since I had probably sent you the majority of them anyway. It's ounce of King of Kentucky in the raffle. So just to keep you up to date on what we're doing here. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to raffle off my best. So for the next live stream, we're going to have maybe 2-3 weeks from now, we're going to be raffling off Dustin's best. So Dustin can decide whatever his best 3 to 5 whiskeys he wants to offer up a sample for. But on our next live stream, we're doing this exact same layout again, but with Dustin's. I would expect King Kentucky and Springbanks. That would be my guess.
There will be King Kentucky in there. I actually didn't even think about it, but the last Spring, I think 25 we reviewed, I actually would probably put over King Kentucky, even though it's not cast strength, which
the 21?
The 25, not the 21, 25.
The 2021 25.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that whiskey.
I don't know what it is about that whiskey. I've put that next to some cast strength epic whiskeys, and it just works, man. I'm telling you, it works. And it blows my mind every time, the fact that it does work, because it shouldn't. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't have that mouthfeel. It shouldn't have that oomph, and it just does. And boy, I'm glad it does.
All right, Dustin, you're the exchange guru. Our boy Tony here says best euro exchange rate in the last 20 years. I tell you what, we used to watch the exchange rate the last couple of years, Dustin, like hawks, when we could go to overseas websites and get whiskey on a dime. There was often a Tuesday or a Thursday morning where Dustin said, "Hey, our currency exchange rate's good. Let's order whiskey from overseas. Where's your World American Express card?" We don't get charged
the problem is for us right now, Tony, is that really it's the pound that we really are more focused on, because our favorite sites are all in the UK. So, and the thing is, I look at euro dollar. I look at every day. I don't look at euro pound as much. So I might have to. I've been trying to put myself on a little bit of a spending cut down. Not shutting myself off, but it's not quite there. The Brexit area was a little better for us. There were some times, man. Oh my God, that was cheap.
Yeah, we had some good days. We had some days like, you know what, we got to buy. It just makes
Tony, it's about $1.05 and $1.25 right now. Yeah, dead on. That's a great whiskey, Travis.
Sean Jones. Sean got in for 2 numbers here recently. Dustin, did you got him?
Yep.
All right, so here in about 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and raffle off this sample, and then we'll take a look at our Patreon. And if you guys, anybody who is a current Patreon subscriber will get a sample of Springbank 18, the 2021, which, Dustin, as you know, I was a big fan of. I think even though it's a 50-50 bourbon sherry maturation, I still say that is one of the most sherried whiskeys of the Springbank 18s I've ever had. So one more time, I'll go ahead and throw the Patreon up. So by the top of the hour, we'll take a look at that. And then one of those people, we don't have many, we have like 5 or 6 people. So one of those people will definitely win. But Dustin, do we want to make it someone on our Patreon or someone on our Patreon who's actually here tonight?
Let's just do Patreon, because we don't have a lot of them. And I think, if you're part of the Patreon, you don't have to catch every live stream.
No, that's fine. Okay, so let's try to catch up with a couple more comments here. I know someone asked about the Irishman 17. Yeah, that was good whiskey too.
I love that bottle.
So many good whiskeys out there, Dustin. And that's a lot of what we try to do. I buy a lot of redundant bottles, I do, but part of doing this whiskey channel, it drives you to try other whiskeys. And man, I love trying other whiskeys. And really, that's a good part of the whiskey community and just having whiskey friends in general.
Case in point, right here. Here's something you don't even think to try. Here's a independent bottling where they blended a bunch of 21-year-old bourbon cask whiskey, and it's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is. All right, Dustin, how many numbers we're up to here, buddy? How many?
We have, I believe, 34 entries in here so far. All right. And 34 entries. So, and we've got in total, it looks like 18 people have entered. So, pretty good turnout, honestly, Mike.
Yeah, thank everybody for doing that. So we'll take a couple more questions here, and we will. Dustin, are you able to put like a randomizer up on the screen?
We can do that here once we're ready.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. So Thomas Michael, for every $5 we get super chatted, you get 1 entry in here for Mike's Best.
Yeah, and again, I will run down one more time, Thomas, what 5 whiskeys I am offering up, and basically you get 1 ounce, and I'll ship it to you for that cost, assuming you win, of course. So, buddy, we got Cleo 35, 58.1% ABV. All these are at a pretty good fill level besides this Lagavulin, but we worked it down quick. Dustin will attest. Lagavulin 25,
Oh, yeah.
any of my Lagavulins you guys have, Talisker 25 cast strength, or one of these epic Balvenie ton 1401s, which I'm just finishing up this 1401 right now. Beautiful, beautiful example of everything Balvenie can do, just strong and vibrant. So anyway, like I said, man, just $5 American. Thanks, Peter. We'll give you that. Make sure Peter gets 1.5 numbers. Make sure Peter doesn't win on that second number. Obviously kidding. Obviously kidding.
Peter will get a small additional surcharge when we ship.
So collection video. So I would love to do collection video. I just got to get them all out and get them ready to present and everything else like that. It seems like that's a silly thing that would be a hassle, but it's really a hassle.
Yeah, I'm going to try to start actually doing the filming kind of in like kind of my whiskey room. The problem is I don't have enough space in there. I have to bring a laptop in there, hook up the camera and everything. So as a result, it's kind of difficult for me to run the raffle and do that. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, at least you guys can get some idea.
Yeah. Four Roses, man. I tell you what. Did we review that Four Roses that you got recently? No, we're going to do it next time. We've had a couple of Four Roses we're going to bring in. We definitely like that stuff. Dustin, give them a little taste of that bottle of what we're.
So we were going to do a review of the 2019 limited release, which is one of my favorites. I believe it's got bourbon up to like 19 years old in it.
Great bottle.
Beautiful, beautiful whiskey. Beautiful rye notes. I love the Four Roses limited editions. We'll also try to get the 2020 at some point here, and I haven't found a 2021 yet, but I might be willing to spend a small premium to get one of those at some point. So if one shows up, I'll probably grab it.
Yeah, we have quite a few whiskeys we have still yet to review here. And Dustin and I were actually talking about that today. I was talking about the Khalil 34 that Dustin had. I was like, hey, when we reviewed that, where did we put some? I'm looking for some information on it. I might get a bottle. And we haven't even reviewed it yet. So we have plenty of amazing whiskeys here yet to come. So Michael Thomas, you got in here at $4.99, bud. That's fine. We'll pick up that penny for you. Dustin, we got him one. And we got Burnsy guy here, last one here. So we're maybe giving a minute or two, and then we'll rock and roll with this entry. But if you guys are a fan of the channel and you've seen me review all of these whiskeys that are up here for the raffle, all great whiskeys. And I'll get it all secured in a 1 ounce sample bottle. Dustin's going to bring me some 1 ounce sample bottles this weekend, and I'll get it out to you Monday or Tuesday. I'm in packaging, so I'll make sure to, wrap it properly, put bubble wrapper on it and everything else like that. Make sure it arrives to you as best as I possibly can get it to you guys, because I know you will want to enjoy whatever whiskey it is, and I want you to enjoy it because they're some of my favorite. What do we do for a living? Boring stuff, man. Everyday stuff. I've always been in sales my whole life. I've been in packaging for probably the last 8 years, but I'm in the relationship business. Dustin, were you professional tanner?
Exactly. I work in corporate finance. Nothing particularly exciting about that.
Nope. When when I do something interesting, this is what we do, our whiskey, and we love it, man. Send me a liter, Peter. Boy, I tell you what, I think I might be able to conjure up a liter of most of these whiskeys, but I don't know if I'd ever get a chance to get any of them again if I gave it all to you. Not that isn't a great idea. I used a super chat sticker. That's fine, man. No worries. No worries. All right, Dustin. We're going to call it quits right here on the first raffle. So this our guy right here is the last one in. So let's go ahead and let's get that ready. Give me one more running total, if you would, sir, when you get a chance, on how many people are in, and we will go from there.
Yeah, Mike. So we have we have 20 people in with 36 total raffles.
36. I appreciate it, guys. Definitely
really do appreciate that, guys. So
always remember, YouTube takes that massive cut out of everything, so we're not being greedy. We're just trying to make sure that we can continue to send you guys samples and do fun things. And just to mention Patreon, just because I know we were kind of giving away the second sample to one of our Patreon subscribers. I will in the next 10 days probably put up a few sample reviews that we're going to kind of focus on that channel because I have a lot of really cool samples I want to get to. Dustin, I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you, buddy.
No, you're good, man. So I'm just trying to get this all set up here.
Yeah, I'll answer a few more people. I'm getting back into Scotch after a while out of Kilkerran 16 or a Spring May 50. I have a hard time deciding. Can't get both. I would say Kilkerran 16 between those two. Dustin, thoughts?
I mean, the thing I always come back to is if you can get Kilkerran 16, you can probably get Kilkerran 12, and I like Kilkerran 12 better.
Yeah, I guess I probably don't disagree with you.
So that's kind of where I'm at. And so I would get the Kilkerran 12 over those two. Otherwise, I mean, if you like a lot of funky Springbank, then go for it.
All right, so what we're going to do is when Dustin gets this all loaded up and everything, we're going to try to put it on screen, then hit a number so you guys all see. So everything's extremely transparent. And what you guys thinking of making a side deal with someone, a little side hustle? Not that I would do that. I usually give samples away.
Yeah, Mike does that. He's a professional side hustler. He doesn't usually like to do it outside of work. He charges for that effort.
Yes, as it were.
I don't know if you guys can make heads or tails out of this here.
Oh, Dustin, you and your spreadsheets.
So let's just do this real quick. So I have randomly assigned everybody a number here on the right here. And okay, I've dropped all the numbers in here, so I'm going to do it again.
1 second, Dustin. 1 second. Quick question. So the people that gave 4 numbers have their name in there 4 times, right?
Correct. Yeah. So Travis. Here's Travis. Here's Travis again.
Oh, okay. So they're not all stacked together, but
correct. Yeah. So I randomly sorted them after I put them all in here.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So yeah, like Casey Goldberg's 21 and 25, but he gave 10, so we had 2 numbers. Okay.
Yeah. Here's Who Man. Here's Who Man. Here's Who Man again. There should be another Who Man in here. There are 4 Who Mans. He gave us 20.
Okay. So everyone take a quick look that's in here, Dustin. Just give them a second just to make sure that no one has any concerns. If you guys have any concerns with the way this stacks, try to give us just a little something. Donald,
anybody seeing anything missing?
Yeah, Donald, we appreciate you stopping by, man. Kind of got to a high water mark here with 30. So, and again, we're giving out one more spring make after we're done here. So, Dustin, I don't see anybody here that has voiced any concerns with what we have or how we're about to do it. So you're going to hit again, and then it's going to spit out a number, right? And
I'm going to do again twice, just for the sake of just so everybody sees it.
Okay,
the first number here that corresponds over here wins. So right now it would be apparently I can't spell Travis, but this is Travis here. Sorry, Travis.
Okay, yeah, in this scenario.
Yeah. So we're gonna do it once, just kind of so we can see how it works, and then we're gonna go again. Just tell me if you think we're ready. I think we are.
Yeah, so this is the test run, and then we're gonna do it one more time. So in this test run, just hit it so everyone see how it works, Dustin.
Yeah. So again, we see it randomized. And now the last one here is going to be for the winner.
Okay, so and Dustin, just to be transparent, whatever. So in this scenario, 35 would have won. That would be number 1, correct?
Yep, that'd be Peter White.
Okay, so we're basically whatever is number 1 is the very top of the list, guys. That who's going to win. So we're going to go here in about 10 seconds, and I'll say this. I'm going to finish this Balvenie, excellent whiskey. And before we draw the number.
Oh, Travis. Tell me when you're ready, Mike. I'll hit it.
I'm more concerned about Dustin than I am the raffle. I met him, I can't tell. Hey, man, I had my concerns first time I met him, too. I wanted Keith to go with me. He's my bodyguard. All right.
And then you tried King of Kentucky, and you went, all right, I've learned something.
Then, you know what? You ever seen that meme where it's the scene where the guys are getting into the or the scene where he's got Georgie in the sewer drain, and there's that picture, and he says, "Hey, I got whiskey down here," and then there's a man like trying to claw into the sewer to see what he has going. Anyway, okay, so Dustin,
yep,
we're gonna go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The winner is number 7, who is
Travis Big Sexy.
There you go, Travis.
All right, Travis, just
whoa. Okay, so
Number 7's first. Travis.
okay,
I'm sorry. No, it's Peter White.
no, I'm sorry,
My
it's
bad.
Peter White. I'm sorry, he had number 7.
Oh, I am so sorry. You know what?
Yeah, the first one was name. Yeah, the first one named actually Peter White wins.
Wow, Peter, you are apparently both of yours were the two randoms. Wow,
Yeah, that's something
that's
super.
crazy. But you know what, Mike? Let's do a consolation prize. I'm going to throw in another sample of Springbank 18.
Okay, so what was it? Peter, you win. Okay, first of all, first things first. Peter, you win. So, Peter, if you want to take a minute to think about it, Peter, that's perfectly fine. But if you know which whiskey you want, go ahead and let everyone know what you're going to pick. And then I will give you an email address of the channel so you can email me and then give me your address and we'll set everything up for you. So I'm going to put email address in here. So Peter, yeah, congrats, Peter, for sure, man. You're going to get a good one. So Peter, that is the email address. Just make sure you send me an email, Peter, and I will make sure that you. I'll make sure that you get in here. Travis rigged. Travis, I'm sorry, man. As soon as Dustin said that, I was like, "Nah, man, you got to be one day."
I felt so bad.
I tell you what, Travis. I'll send you something lesser, man. Send me an email, Travis. I'll do this, Travis. What distillery do you like? I'm going to send you something just because we said wrong information. So tell me a couple of distilleries you like, Travis. I'll find something nice and I'll send you out an out sample myself. And then, so you also, Travis, use that M&B whiskey review at Gmail to send me an email. But Peter, tell me, what are you thinking, my friend? What are you going to pick?
Yeah, I feel like people want to know what you're going to pick. I feel like that's like as excited as somebody is to win. I think it's one of those they want to know what's going to be picked. I really do.
For sure. So yeah, Peter gets his choice, and then Travis, again, buddy, I'm gonna hook you up, man. Just tell me like what's the style you like, and I'll send you an ounce sample of really nice whiskey, and just tell me where you live, and man, you're gonna get something nice for sure. I promise you that. Peter White, go with the Kalila.
Oh, good call.
Man.
Good choice, man.
You animal. Yeah,
no, Travis, man. We're happy to get you one, man. Just
yeah. Travis, buddy, you change your mind. Seriously, man, you change your mind. My email's right there. Just send me an email. I'll send you something, man, for sure, man. No problem at all. Peter, congratulations, man. Kalila 35 is a good choice. Dustin, what would you have picked?
Well, I for me, my favorite whiskey of that group, because I know which 1401 you're going to give out.
What do you think of that? I would have gave people a choice on the 4. I would have hoped
I'm kidding.
Batch 9, not 8.
No. Well, I mean, truth be told, I would. I mean, of the ones you mentioned, Lagavulin 25, I think that is a just absolute dessert, delicious, epic whiskey. But if you don't want desserty peat, Peter White got probably the best, just traditional peated whiskey there.
For sure. No,
the 1401's so good, and then obviously I know that you have other Lagavulins, and I might have gone to one of the fish shields because you got a couple that are pretty special.
All right, let me try to get this screen here off here.
Well, let's real quick here. I'm going to.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Do that 18 real quick here. So we're going to go again here, and we're going to do it twice again. So first time here, just a test run. Okay. All right, there's something wrong. What's going on here? Let's try this. All right, here we go. I'm going to do 2 more just because I'm a little concerned. I think 35's come up twice now. All right, it is randomizing here. I feel better. This one will be the winner here.
Human.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, this is it right here. So, boom. 18, which is Kyle.
Kyle
Lansky. I like that last name.
Welcome, Kyle. All right, so what Kyle win, Dustin?
So I'm just going to do another sample of the Springbank 18 that we're doing for the Patreon. We'll also do one for Kyle.
Okay, sounds good, Kyle. So Kyle, same thing, buddy. Kyle, just email me at M&B Whiskey Review and whiskey. It's not review. Yeah, review at gmail.com, and we'll get your address, buddy, and everything else like that, and we'll take care of you. So, Dustin, let me do this. Let me pull up the Patreon. One more sample.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna do this. Pull up the Patreon. We'll do that.
Okay. So, all right. All right. So we got Daniel Haston, Charles Montgomery, Whiskey Cross, Dan Cleric. We got Christine Dems. And hold on a second. How do I get to everybody? DJ Beacon. One second. I can only pull up so many at one time.
Yep, Kyle, just shoot an email to Mike. I will pour those. I will bring them to Mike. So, guys, if you've ever dealt with me, I am very slow to send samples, but Mike is a packing, shipping professional. So,
yeah. So don't
out
worry.
the door, no problem.
Yeah, I will get it going. Okay, so it should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm missing somebody. Or no, I'm missing 2 people. DJ Beacon, Daniel, Charles, Whiskey Cross, Nancy, Christine, Charles Montgomery. Okay.
Yes, Vin, I'm much better in person. As anybody who's met me knows, I'm very generous in person because I don't have to ship.
Yes, James. We'll put James Tibb.
That's true, Jason. I do owe you a couple bottles, buddy. I'm literally looking at them right now.
All right, and one person's like a private. Okay, so we'll roll with those 7 people, and what we'll do is
wait. You said I've got 6. You're going missing. I've got DJ. I've got Daniel H. I got Charles M. I got Whiskey Cross. I got Dan C. Christine D. And
let me look at her from the websites. So we should have 7 in there. Christine D. Dan Hansen, Charles Montgomery, Whiskey Cross, Dan Cleric, James Tibb, the Scotch Whiskey Club, and DJ Beacon.
I missed James T.
Yep. Okay.
That should be it.
It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Okay. So of these 8 people, so we got 2 people to join tonight. So thank you for those people who joined tonight. And
you said one was private, right? So there's only going to be 7 in here.
No, we should have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I've only got 7, Mike.
All right. Hold on. One more time. Whiskey Cross, DJ Bacon, Christine. All right. The Scotch Whiskey Club.
Oh, okay. There we go.
So, okay. And then 1 private, so I can message them, but we'll just go with those 8.
All right. So we're going to ran between 1 and 8. All right.
Very welcome, Kyle. Yes, Peter White 1. Buddy, I know the feeling. Here in Ohio, we do whiskey lotteries for like all the good bourbons and scotches, and I've been going after them for, I don't know, 5, 6 years. I never win anything.
All right. Random number, and we're gonna go back. Apparently, doesn't like me going back. I just want to change the list. Let's see here. Well, we'll just go back to the start. And what in the world? Why is this? This is all looking different to me. Where do I just put in the list?
All right. So
we're just going to do this. Here we're going to go.
All right. So, hey, Peter, by the way, man, I think Peter's in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's in Canada. All right, Mike. So I've just got Excel doing this one for us, just as easy. It's going to randomize between 1 and 8.
I don't think anyone's going to take us to court over it, Dustin.
I don't think so. So we're going to do two of them. So here's the first one, just to test it, and there we go. Number 7, Dan C.
Is that it, or is that the test?
No, I did the test. Dan C is the winner.
Oh, Dan C's the winner. All right. Dan Cleric, my man. I don't know if you're here tonight, Dan, but if you are, my friends, we got some Spring 18 coming to you. Dan, probably the one person that wouldn't appreciate it. All right.
I think Dan will enjoy it, but yeah, Dan drinks well.
All right, so congratulations, all three people that won samples. Really happy for you guys to try that. So I'll be looking for your emails, guys. I'll probably get back to you tomorrow, and I'll get the samples all made out and shipped to you guys this weekend. So get with me, just with your addresses or where you guys want me to ship everything to. I'll cover the shipping. Figure someone in Canada won, and I'll get this Kalila 35 up to you. And only other thing I ask you, man, let me know what you think of it, because I think that is beautiful whiskey. So, Dustin, other than that, do you have anything you want to say to the folks before we sign off today? Oh, and just remember, here in either 2 or 3 weeks, probably 2 weeks, we're going to do another live stream. Dustin will be giving his best whiskey. So if my whiskey best isn't your profile, Dustin has a slightly different profile. There'll be good whiskeys there. I'm going to probably throw $5 at it. And we'll see where we can take it from there. Dustin, you want to say anything else before we sign off with the folks?
No, guys, just happy drinking, and thanks for joining us. Really, we appreciate it. Mike and I weren't sure what would happen when we started doing lives, and we know we're going on a little early for some of our West Coast friends, and we're probably going on a little late for our UK friends, but we're doing our best. There's a lot of people go live, so cheers, guys, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah, and thanks for coming for stopping in. I know the draft is on and everything, so if you're a sports fan, I know that's something that's always of interest. But as a Bears fan, how good can it be? It's terrible. Anyway, well, thank you for joining us. Again, we'll be in touch here soon. And for everyone who won, get a hold of me. I'll send you out those samples. Love to get that whiskey in you guys' hand. Until next time, Dustin will be with you, folks.
Happy drinking.
We'll see you next time.